Does this sound familiar? The house is quiet. The world outside is asleep. Your body is exhausted, begging for rest after a long day. You close your eyes, and then it begins. It starts not as a pain, but as an insistence. A strange, creeping sensation deep within your legs. It's an electric fizz running down your calves. A deep, nagging itch in your bones that you can't scratch. A bizarre, undeniable urge that screams at your brain, move. Now, you stretch your legs. You kick them out. You get out of bed and pace the cold floor of your bedroom, the movement offering a fleeting moment of relief. But the second you lie back down, the second you surrender to stillness, the invisible puppeteer starts pulling the strings again. This isn't just a bad night. This is every night. Your own body has become your tormentor. Your bed a prison. And the worst part? The crushing loneliness of it all. When you try to explain it to someone who has never felt it, you see the look in their eyes. A look of loving confusion. Maybe you're just stressed, they'll say. Try to relax. And you know they can't possibly understand the war being waged inside you. If this is your reality, I need you to listen to me very closely. You are not crazy. You are not weak. And you are not imagining it. What you are experiencing has a name. It is Restless Legs Syndrome, or RLS. And it is not just a nuisance. It is a very real, very complex, and widely misunderstood neurological disorder. How widespread? The National Institute of Health estimates that 1 in 10 Americans, more than 30 million people, suffer from this condition. Millions are living in quiet desperation, dismissed by doctors, misunderstood by family, and believing it's a battle they must fight alone. But that ends today. This video is going to be different. It's going to be long. It's going to be detailed. My goal is to make this the single most comprehensive guide on restless leg syndrome you will ever need to watch. So grab a cup of herbal tea, find a comfortable position, if you can, and prepare to finally understand the unseen enemy you've been fighting. We are going to pull back the curtain on what RLS truly is, uncover the hidden reasons why it's happening, expose the everyday triggers that are making it worse, and most importantly, give you a detailed, step-by-step blueprint to reclaim your nights and get your life back. To win a war, you must first know your enemy. And the enemy of RLS is a master of disguise. It masquerades as stress, as muscle soreness, as simple fidgeting. But it is none of those things. Let's meet Sarah, a 64-year-old retired teacher from Austin, Texas. For years, she was a prisoner of this war without even knowing its name. Her story begins, as it does for so many, with a subtle annoyance. It started when she and her husband, Mark, would sit down to watch a movie after dinner. About 20 minutes in, Sarah would feel it. A buzzing in her calves. She'd cross and uncross her legs, shifting on the couch. Mark, absorbed in the film, would barely notice. Just getting comfortable, she'd tell herself. But over months, the buzzing became a demanding thrum. The shifting became a constant, desperate repositioning. She couldn't focus on the movie. She couldn't focus on her book. All her mind could register was the growing, insistent command from her legs to move. Eventually, she'd give up, standing up to get a glass of water or check the laundry, anything to justify the blessed relief of walking. The real battle, however, began when the lights went out. Lying in bed, the thrumming would escalate into what she could only describe as an electric current mixed with crawling insects. The urge to move was no longer a suggestion, it was a physical mandate. She'd kick, stretch, and thrash, disrupting not only her own sleep but Mark's as well. She went to her family doctor, who patted her on the knee. "It sounds like simple muscle cramps, Sarah. Try eating more bananas for potassium." She ate bananas until she couldn't stand the sight of them. Nothing changed. Her next doctor suggested it was poor circulation. "Wear these compression socks," he advised. She wore the tight, uncomfortable stockings faithfully. The crawling continued, now under a layer of constricting fabric. A third doctor, noting her age and recent retirement, concluded it was anxiety. "You have a lot of changes in your life. Here's a prescription for a mild sedative. The sedatives made her groggy but did nothing to stop the internal earthquake in her legs. If anything, she felt worse. Now she was too tired to even get up and pace, forced to lie there and endure the sensations. Sarah felt like she was losing her mind. She felt unseen, unheard, and profoundly alone. What Sarah and her doctors didn't realize was that her condition had a clear, distinct set of fingerprints. The medical community calls it a diagnosis. For people like Sarah, it's a validation. It's the moment they realize they aren't making it up. Let's walk through the clues that finally unlock Sarah's case, the 5 golden rules of diagnosis. See if they unlock your case too. First, the urge. Was there an overwhelming urge to move the legs, tied to an unpleasant sensation? For Sarah, this was the core of her experience. It wasn't a choice, it was a compulsion. Second, rest-induced. Did it start or get worse during rest? Absolutely. The couch, the bed, the car, these were her battlegrounds. Stillness was the trigger. Third, relief with activity. Did moving help? Yes. Pacing the floor at 2 a.m. was her only temporary truce. The moment she stopped, the enemy advanced again. Fourth, evening worsening. Was there a time pattern? Unquestionably. Her mornings were fine, but as the sun went down, the symptoms would rise up to meet it. This circadian rhythm is a hallmark of RLS. Fifth, exclusion. Were her symptoms fully explained by anything else? No. The bananas didn't help, ruling out simple cramps. The compression socks did nothing, ruling out simple circulation issues. The sedatives failed, proving it wasn't just anxiety. When a sleep specialist finally walked Sarah through this checklist, she broke down in tears. Not of sadness, but of relief. It had a name. It was real. But a name is only the beginning. Understanding the name is only a fraction of understanding the impact. RLS is a thief. It steals more than just sleep. It creates a devastating ripple effect. For Sarah, it stole her mental health. The chronic sleep deprivation led to a constant state of brain fog and irritability, which blossomed into a full-blown depression. It stole her relationship. Mark, out of sheer exhaustion, eventually moved into the guest room. The bed they had shared for 40 years became a symbol of their separation. The silence between them grew heavy with unspoken resentment and misunderstanding. It stole her social life. She turned down invitations to movies, long dinners, and even visiting her grandchildren if it involved a long car ride. The world, once a place of opportunity, began to feel like a series of potential traps. Sarah's story is the story of millions. It's a story about an invisible prison. But every prison has a key. And the key to this one is hidden deep inside the body's command center, the brain. To win this war, we must go behind enemy lines. We need to understand the strategy of RLS, and that strategy is formulated in the most complex place in the known universe, your brain. The clues to this mystery are not obvious. They are biochemical. Let's follow them one by one. Clue number 1, the great iron deception. Our first clue leads us to one of the most common elements on Earth, iron. We think of iron in our blood carrying oxygen, keeping us from being anemic. And that's true. But in the brain, iron has a far more specialized, far more critical role. Think of your brain as a high-tech manufacturing plant. This plant produces everything that makes you, your thoughts, emotions, and movements. One of the most important products it manufactures is a neurochemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's conductor of calm. It's a messenger that, among many other things, tells your legs it's okay to be still and relax. To manufacture dopamine, the brain factory needs a crucial raw material. That raw material is iron. Now, here is the great deception, the very reason Sarah's first doctors missed the biggest clue. Sarah had her blood tested. The results came back normal. Her doctor told her, your iron levels are fine. But here's the secret. The amount of iron floating in your bloodstream can be completely different from the amount of iron that's actually inside your brain. Why? Because of something called the blood-brain barrier. Imagine it as the world's tightest border security. It protects the brain, letting only essential, approved molecules pass through. Iron can't just waltz across this border. It needs a special passport and a dedicated transport system. In many people genetically predisposed to RLS, this transport system is inefficient. So while there might be plenty of iron, tourists, in the bloodstream, very few are getting there, visas, stamped to enter the brain where they are desperately needed. This is why a standard blood test isn't enough. We need to look at the country's strategic reserves, not just the cash in its pocket. In the body, that strategic reserve of iron is stored in a protein called ferritin. Think of it this way: the iron in your blood is like the cash in your wallet. Ferritin is the money in your savings account. Your brain makes withdrawals directly from that savings account. Sarah's wallet was fine, but her savings account was nearly empty. When she finally saw a specialist, they didn't just test her iron, they tested her ferritin. A normal lab range for ferritin can be as low as 20 or 30 nanograms per milliliter. But leading RLS researchers at institutions like Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic have found that for the brain's dopamine production to be optimal, the ferritin level should be above 75 nanograms per milliliter. Sarah's ferritin level was 18. It was the smoking gun. Her brain was starving for iron, even though her body wasn't anemic. Her dopamine factory was running on fumes. Clue number 2, the dopamine disruption. This leads us directly to our second clue. With the iron-deficient factory unable to produce enough dopamine, the conductor of calm starts to lose control, especially at night. Your brain's dopamine levels have a natural daily rhythm, a circadian clock. They are highest during the day, helping you stay focused and coordinated. As evening approaches, those levels naturally begin to fall to prepare you for sleep. In a healthy brain, this is a smooth, gentle descent. But in an RLS brain, it's more like a plane losing engine power. The descent is steep and turbulent. The system becomes unstable. The conductor is no longer on the podium, and the leg muscles, no longer receiving their clear signal to be calm, begin their chaotic, restless music. This is why RLS is a disorder of the night. It's not that your legs are misbehaving, it's that the part of the brain meant to keep them quiet has, essentially, clocked out early. Now, it's natural to hear dopamine problems and think of Parkinson's disease. It's a valid concern, as both conditions involve dysfunction in the same dopamine pathways. Let me be very clear, having RLS does not mean you will get Parkinson's. The vast majority of people with RLS never do. They are distinct conditions. However, they are cousins in a biochemical sense, which underscores the very real, very neurological basis of what you are feeling. Clue number 3, the genetic blueprint and the gut-brain conspiracy. So why is Sarah's iron transport system faulty? Why is her dopamine system so fragile? Often, the answer lies in her genes. Science has identified several genes that predispose a person to RLS. Think of these genes not as a life sentence, but as a factory blueprint with a few known weak spots. But a blueprint is not the final building. This is where our final, most surprising clue comes in, the gut-brain connection. For decades, we thought of the gut as a simple plumbing system. We now know it is our second brain, containing hundreds of millions of neurons and trillions of microbes that are in constant communication with the brain in our head. Let's meet John, a 58-year-old long-haul truck driver. His RLS was so severe it threatened his livelihood. He couldn't get restorative sleep at truck stops. His diet consisted of diner food, sugary sodas, and processed snacks. He also suffered from chronic heartburn and bloating. His journey to relief didn't start with a neurologist, but with a functional medicine doctor who focused on his gut. Tests revealed he had leaky gut syndrome and SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Here's the conspiracy: a leaky, inflamed gut does two terrible things. First, it can't properly absorb the very nutrients your brain needs, like iron, magnesium, and B vitamins. John was eating, but he was starving on a cellular level. Second, the chronic, low-grade inflammation from his gut was sending constant stress signals to his entire body, including his brain, further disrupting his delicate neurochemistry. by putting John on a protocol to heal his gut, eliminating inflammatory foods and adding probiotics. His body began to absorb nutrients properly for the first time in years. As his gut healed, his RLS symptoms, which had plagued him for a decade, began to fade. The clues are clear. RLS is not a mystery. It's a logical, if complex, result of a system under stress, a brain starved of iron, a dopamine system running low, a genetic predisposition, and often, a gut crying out for help. Your genes may load the gun, but it's your daily habits that pull the trigger. Now we move from the why to the what. We've seen the loaded gun. Now let's identify the fingerprints on the trigger. You will be shocked to find these saboteurs hiding in plain sight, disguised as comforts, routines, and even healthy habits. Saboteur number 1, the deceptive comfort of your morning coffee. It's the ritual that starts the day for millions. The smell, the warmth, the feeling of waking up. But for a brain with RLS, that cup of coffee can be a long-lasting poison. But I only have 1 cup in the morning, you might say. Let's do the math. Caffeine has a long half-life, averaging about 6 hours. This means if you drink a 150 milligrams cup of coffee at 8 a.m., by 2 p.m., you still have 75 milligrams in your system. By 8 p.m., when your RLS symptoms are just beginning to stir, you still have nearly 40 milligrams of a powerful neurological stimulant circulating in your veins. Caffeine works by blocking a calming brain chemical called adenosine. For an RLS brain, which is already struggling to find its calm signal, this is like putting a block under the brake pedal. Furthermore, it can interfere with how your dopamine receptors function. And it's not just coffee. Be wary of its hidden relatives: black tea, green tea, energy drinks, soda, and even your favorite dark chocolate bar. For 2 weeks, try a total caffeine detox. The results may astonish you. Saboteur number 2, the betrayal of the evening glass of wine. That glass of red wine feels like the perfect way to unwind. It relaxes you, makes you feel sleepy, and helps you drift off. It's a perfect solution, right? Wrong. It's a trap. Alcohol is a sedative, so it does help you fall asleep faster. But as your body metabolizes it throughout the night, a rebound effect occurs. Your nervous system, no longer suppressed, jolts back into an overstimulated state. This usually happens 2 to 3 hours after you've fallen asleep, precisely when you should be in your deepest, most restorative sleep cycle. You wake up, and not only are you awake, but your RLS is back with a vengeance. That relaxing glass of wine just robbed your sleep bank and funded your enemy. Saboteur number 3, the sugar high and the inflammatory crash. That bowl of ice cream after dinner, the cookies, the slice of cake, they are more than just a treat. They are an inflammatory bomb. When you consume sugar or refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar spikes dramatically. Your pancreas then releases a flood of insulin to deal with the onslaught. This rapid spike and crash cycle is incredibly stressful for your nervous system. It creates a wave of inflammation throughout your body and can directly interfere with dopamine regulation. Think of it like this: sugar is kindling. Your RLS is a smoldering fire. Every time you eat sugar, you are throwing a handful of dry kindling onto those embers, preparing for the nightly inferno. Saboteur number 4, the treachery in the medicine cabinet. This may be the most important and overlooked section of all. We take medications to heal, but some of the most common over-the-counter and prescription drugs are notorious RLS triggers. Let's be specific. Antihistamines. The first-generation antihistamines are the worst offenders. This includes diphenhydramine, the active ingredient in Benadryl, Tylenol PM, and Advil PM. It easily crosses the blood-brain barrier and can disrupt dopamine pathways. Even some second-generation ones like Zyrtec, cetirizine, can be a problem for sensitive people. Antidepressants. Many common SSRIs and SNRIs, such as Prozac, fluoxetine, Zoloft, sertraline, and Cymbalta, duloxetine, can induce or worsen RLS in a significant portion of users. If you are on one of these and suffer from RLS, it is a critical conversation to have with your doctor. Alternatives like Wellbutrin, bupropion, are often better tolerated. Anti-nausea medications. Most common antiemetics, like Reglan, metoclopramide, and compazine, prochlorperazine, work by blocking dopamine receptors. For someone with RLS, taking one of these is like pouring gasoline on the fire. A critical warning: text on screen: never, ever stop taking a prescribed medication without consulting your doctor. This can be dangerous. Your job is to be an informed patient. Make a list of your medications, bring it to your doctor, and ask the question: could any of these be contributing to my RLS, and are there safer alternatives for me? By identifying and eliminating these saboteurs, you are not just managing symptoms. You are removing the fuel that feeds the fire. You are taking away the enemy's ammunition. Knowledge is power, but action is freedom. We have identified the enemy, we understand its strategy, and we've unmasked its allies. Now, it is time to build your arsenal. This is your blueprint for taking back the night, step by practical step. Blueprint step number 1: build your peaceful plate. Your fork is one of the most powerful tools you have. The goal is to create a diet that reduces inflammation, provides essential neurological building blocks, and stabilizes your blood sugar. First, let's focus on what to embrace. Iron-rich heroes. Your mission is to rebuild your ferritin stores. Heme iron, the VIP pass. This is the most easily absorbed form. Prioritize grass-fed red meat, organic liver, a true superfood, oysters, clams, and dark poultry meat. Non-heme iron, the reliable ally found in lentils, chickpeas, spinach, best cooked to reduce oxalates, and pumpkin seeds. Crucial tip: always pair these with a source of vitamin C, like bell peppers, broccoli, or a squeeze of lemon juice, to increase absorption by up to 600%. Magnesium-rich marvels. Magnesium is nature's relaxation mineral. It calms the nervous system. Find it in dark leafy greens, spinach, Swiss chard, almonds, avocados, and high-quality dark chocolate, 80% cacao or higher. Potassium for balance. This electrolyte helps regulate nerve signals. Excellent sources include sweet potatoes, avocados, spinach, coconut water, and white beans. Healthy fats for a happy brain. Your brain is 60% fat. Give it what it needs with avocados, extra virgin olive oil, walnuts, and fatty fish like wild-caught salmon, rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Now let's look at a sample. Day of eating for a silent night. Breakfast: a 3-egg omelet cooked in coconut oil with a generous handful of spinach and a side of sliced avocado. Lunch: a large power salad with grilled chicken or chickpeas, mixed greens, bell peppers, cucumber, walnuts, and an olive oil vinaigrette. Dinner: a piece of wild-caught salmon baked with a side of roasted asparagus and a small sweet potato. Snack: a handful of almonds and a few squares of dark chocolate. Notice a pattern? Every meal is centered on protein and healthy fat, which stabilizes blood sugar and keeps you full and focused. Blueprint step number 2: the movement as medicine protocol. Movement is a paradox for RLS. Too little is a trigger. Too much is also a trigger. The key is the right kind and the right time. Moderate, regular exercise like brisk walking, swimming, cycling, or yoga, done preferably in the morning or early afternoon, is fantastic for improving circulation and boosting dopamine. But the most non-negotiable part of your movement protocol is the 10-minute pre-bed stretching ritual. This is an exercise. This is a conversation with your muscles, telling them it's time to release. Deep calf stretch. Stand facing a wall, place your hands on it. Step 1 foot back, keeping the leg straight and the heel on the floor. Lean forward until you feel a deep stretch in your calf. Hold for 30 to 45 seconds. Repeat on the other side. Do this twice. Hamstring release. Sit on the floor, one leg extended straight. Bend the other leg, placing the sole of your foot against your inner thigh. Gently fold forward over the straight leg until you feel a stretch. Don't force it. Breathe. Hold for 30 to 45 seconds. Switch sides. Quad stretch. Stand, holding onto a chair for balance. Grab your left foot with your left hand and gently pull your heel toward your glute, feeling a stretch in the front of your thigh. Keep your knees together. Hold for 30 seconds. Switch sides. Piriformis/hip stretch. Lie on your back. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Thread your hands behind your left thigh and gently pull the whole structure toward your chest. You should feel a deep stretch in your right glute. Hold for 45 seconds. This releases a key muscle that can put pressure on the sciatic nerve. Switch sides. This nightly ritual sends a powerful signal of safety and relaxation to your nervous system. Make it sacred. Blueprint step number 3, the sleep sanctuary ritual. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary for sleep, not a battleground. This requires creating a powerful wind-down routine. The therapeutic bath. 90 minutes before bed, take a warm bath. Add 2 cups of Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate, and 5 to 10 drops of lavender essential oil. The heat increases blood flow, and the magnesium is absorbed through your skin, promoting muscle relaxation. Soak for at least 20 minutes. Dim the lights, kill the screens. An hour before bed, your digital sunset begins. Turn off bright overhead lights. Turn off the TV, the tablet, the phone. The blue light from these screens halts your body's production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. The brain dump. Keep a notebook by your bed. Before you lie down, spend 5 minutes writing down everything that's worrying you, every task on your to-do list for tomorrow. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. Box breathing. Once in bed, perform this simple but powerful breathing technique. Inhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Repeat for 5 to 10 cycles. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest mode. Blueprint step number 4, the Smart Supplement Toolkit. While diet is the foundation, targeted supplements can be powerful accelerators on your journey to recovery. Remember, always consult with a knowledgeable healthcare provider before starting any new supplement regimen. Iron. If your ferritin is below 75 nanograms per milliliter, supplementation under a doctor's care is often necessary. Iron bisglycinate is a gentle, well-absorbed form. Always take it with vitamin C and away from calcium or caffeine, which block absorption. Magnesium. This is the superstar. Most people are deficient. Magnesium glycinate is the best form for sleep and RLS, as the glycinate molecule itself is a calming neurotransmitter. A typical dose is 400 to 500 milligrams taken an hour before bed. Vitamin D3/K2. Optimal vitamin D levels are crucial for neurological health. Get your levels tested. If you supplement with D3, always take it with vitamin K2 to ensure calcium goes to your bones, not your arteries. B-complex. A high-quality B-complex, particularly one with active forms of B12, methylcobalamin, and folate, methylfolate, can support overall nerve health and energy production. Blueprint step number 5, the Emergency Relief Kit. For those bad nights when the symptoms break through, you need an immediate action plan. Temperature shock. Try a hot shower, letting the water run over your legs. Or try an ice pack wrapped in a towel. The sudden change in temperature can reset the faulty nerve signals. Pressure and massage. Deep, firm massage on your calves and thighs can provide relief. A foam roller or a massage gun on a low setting can be very effective. Sensory distraction. The urge to move is a signal. You can try to override it with another signal. Put on headphones and listen to a deeply engaging podcast or audiobook. The mental focus required can sometimes quiet the signals from your legs. This blueprint is not a quick fix. It is a commitment to a new way of life. It is a way of honoring your body and giving your nervous system the safety and resources it needs to heal. We have traveled a long road together today. We journeyed into the invisible prison of RLS, we walked the quiet corridors of the brain, we unmasked the saboteurs hiding in our daily lives, and we drew up a detailed blueprint for recovery. If you have stayed with me this long, it is because you, or someone you love, knows the nightly war all too well. My final message to you is one of profound hope. Restless Legs Syndrome can feel like a life sentence, but it does not have to be. It is not a character flaw. It is a condition, and conditions can be managed. They can be improved. In many cases, they can be pushed so far into remission that they no longer dictate the terms of your life. Look at Sarah. After 3 months of working with her specialist to raise her ferritin levels and changing her diet, she slept through the night for the first time in nearly a decade. She told me she woke up the next morning and just lay in bed, crying with gratitude for the silence in her legs. Look at John. By healing his gut, he not only quieted his RLS, but he also lost weight, gained energy, and felt better at 58 than he did at 38. Their stories can be your story. This journey requires a new kind of relationship with your body. One of listening, not just enduring. One of nourishing, not just feeding. One of patience, not of frustration. Start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Pick one thing from the blueprint. This week, maybe you eliminate sugar after dinner. Next week, you start the 10-minute stretching ritual. Each small, consistent step is a vote for your own health. Each choice is a brick you lay in the foundation of a peaceful night. You are the expert on your own body. You are the hero of your own story. You have the power to turn the page. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. If this guide has been valuable to you, please share it. You never know who in your life is fighting this battle in secret. And now, I want to hear from you. Use the comments below as a forum for this community. Share one thing you learned today that gave you hope. Share one strategy you are going to try first. Your story could be the one that inspires someone else to start their own journey. Be patient. Be consistent. Be hopeful. The night can be a time of peace again. You deserve it.